home of untold stories.
So a digital marketplace is an area online. Most probably it will be a website where a buyer and a seller interact. So it goes along where you can be interacting with your buyer as an individual, you can be interacting with the buyer as a company. On the other side also, the seller can be selling on behalf of other people, the seller can be selling their own things. It can be services, it can be actual products. So the whole interaction from when someone logs into the website, maybe creating an account, how they pick the items and add them to cart, process the payment. It can be, the mobile payment system. It can be through Visa. So wherever way you want to look at it, is that process from where the buyer comes in, picks, pays, and the item is delivered. So that interaction is what defines the online, the marketplace here, digital market space. Yeah. Yeah, so you first need to roll back and figure out what exactly is a digital tax, who it affects, and etc. So for starters, the digital tax does not affect goods, general goods. It affects, even if it's sold online, it doesn't affect the general goods. So it affects specific items, around 5 or so different items, including subscription services, e-learning platforms, people who sell downloadable items online. It does not affect the government, so even if the government trades online, it doesn't affect them. I realize it's also different for the tax for international companies. Tax for local companies is different, right? So for us, they've already defined to us what it is, how much it is, and the percentage and all that. You realize it's very different for international companies. So for example, if an organization is selling goods online, they will go ahead, people like Amazon, they would basically be taxed differently from a company like ours who sells maybe things or sells downloadable items online. So that's basically where it goes. So it's a tax which is paid every month. By 20th needs to be filed. So it has a bit of strict rules here and there. So it's affecting a lot of people. It's affecting YouTube, it's affecting Netflix, some local TV station currently. They're rolling out, these apps online. So it's affecting a lot of people. At the end of it all, it's just the government trying to raise revenue, right? So they want to raise revenue, give us maybe a better infrastructure in terms of the internet highway. Some of the monies are also used to, develop the digital space. So at the end of the day, it's advantageous to the same guys who are being taxed. But of course, no one wants to lose money, so people must complain. But when you look at it properly, it's basically for our own good. Yeah. So as I said before, the digital tax is meant for a specific list of things. I mentioned the 5 items. It shouldn't affect something which is already being taxed. So for example, if someone is selling a shoe online, right, they've already been taxed for the shoe, maybe the import, whatever, that's already been done. So if again they tax you for the same item now, digital tax, because you're selling it online, it will be double taxation, right? So specifically for those soft digital, I would call services being sold or consumed online, right? So how does it affect consumers? Of course, when I, as a business person, gets hit by the government in terms of whatever money they need from me, I would automatically push that expense I would directly push that expense to my customers. So of course the prices of things go up. I realize even for our influencers now, if they used to charge maybe 30,000 for X amount for a particular item, they will now increase to make sure that they're able to remain afloat. So it just affects the general mwananchi in terms of price increase. It also provides a bit of a hindrance, because someone who wants to join zero space now needs to think about taxes, right? So in the past it never used to be like that. You just get into digital space, you do your thing, get your money, and everything is yours. Now when you're doing this particular business, you need to think about the government too. So you also need to factor the cost of doing business with the government. What young entrepreneurs need to understand, or aspiring entrepreneurs need to understand, is it's the way to go. So, for example, we are in the domain selling business. So we encourage people to first of all buy the domain, buy hosting, set up a good quality website. And I underline good quality, because at the end of the day, your brand, even if you don't have anything else, your brand online is your face. So you need to make sure that it's done and done well. Make sure that it's end to end. You're able to have the customer come on board, right? Pick their item, multiple or not. Allow them to make payment, right? So they don't have to pay you for you to send them a banking details or mobile money payment or whatever. It needs to be seamless. So let them come in, pick the item, pay for the item. Give a reasonable delivery period. Right? Don't over exaggerate the delivery period. So give them an honest period which the item will be delivered. Right? That reduces the backlash. Sometimes when you're starting a business and the negative PR picks up on you, it follows you for quite a while. So if you're able to avoid that and deliver on time, then you're okay. So as your business also grows, you realize that you'll grow. You need to hire the right people. So you need to hire smart, hire enough creatives to take it to the next level. Make sure that your website is well SEO'd, marketing is on point. So basically, you need to prepare yourself for growth, right? That you're starting maybe on your own, but in a few years you're able to grow it to the likes of the big brands we have in the world. Yeah. If you're already in the business of, you're already in the e-commerce business, you just want to grow, I will just say concentrate on, as a digital, mostly it's Google searches. Just summarize it to that. So you need to make sure that your SEO online is properly done. So even if it means you have 1,000 products, it will mean you hiring enough people to make sure that the image is named correctly, the description is named correctly, the title of the image of the product is named correctly, the price is well researched, you're not overpricing, whatever. So it's the extra lens you put on your project to allow it to excel beyond the norm. SEO is called search engine optimization, right? So how Google does its ranking is very simple. They first of all pick up the domain name. For example, we have a business called Buy Domain Kenya. So it was very deliberate when we're naming it that. So because when someone is going to Google, search for Buy Domain then Kenya. So if you're selling shambas, so you'll be very wide when people are searching for shambas. If you can search for shamba.ke, you're actually better placed, right? So you need to understand that how does Google do its ranking. So it will search for the domain. The domain needs to be relevant to what the client is looking for. It then tells you that the products you're putting on the website need to be named correctly, right? So what this means is that, for example, you're selling a shamba in Matu. So you need to have the right domain name. They need to be /shamba, let's say 20 acre shamba in Matu or in Mombasa, because when the client is looking for a shamba, they're looking for a shamba and the location, right? So even how you name your images, the pictures you've taken out there, needs to be named correctly, because people don't know this, but Google actually Most people will just upload an image, call it 001 or IMG, whatever. You need to name it exactly what you want Google to pick it as. So you name it correctly, name the image correctly, right? And then the description. The description needs to be very relevant to what you're selling. So what most people do, they will go online and pick a product, the same product, which is being sold here, and they copy paste the content. What they don't know is that Google penalizes you for copy pasting someone's content. So it actually reduces your ranking instead of increasing it. So you might have